Morning, Steve. Bearing up. Bit worse for wear after having the third jab. The other two I had really very, very little side effects from, but this one's knocked me a bit. But so I kind of took it a bit easier yesterday. But can't really just stay off indefinitely. Morning, Sharon. Indefinitely, I should say. Yeah, not too bad. Just a bit worse for wear. That's all. So today I'm going to aim to continue with Josh's Devenant, and I want to try and progress this pipe. I did have this band on it before, but it's not working for me. So I'm doing this one. It's a nice colourful band, which I hope will work better. So I'm going to get this glued on, and then I'm going to load my pipe. I haven't had a smoke yet today. One pipe puffer. And Josh. So we've got yours on the bench, morning grey, and I'm kind of in between things, progressing this pipe along. I've done some sanding on it, and I've changed the band from the silver one to this. It's a kind of a nice, bright looking band. But I'm going to load up a pipe now. I haven't had a smoke yet. So I brought out also a pipe which I got yesterday, which is going to be for refurbishing. It's another Ascorti diamond shank with a stepped saddle. Ascorti did this quite a lot, and it's got like so it's kind of a bulldog. Well, I guess it is a bulldog. It needs a bit of work on the rim. I'm probably going to sand the whole thing back carefully. I might just get away with doing the rim, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to get this one back on the road into usable condition, and it'll probably be available at some point. I might sell it with the other Ascorti, the bent one, which I still haven't broken in yet. But this is actually light as a feather. It's actually a really nice size. I don't know, maybe I'll keep it. I don't know, I really haven't decided. I only got it yesterday. I haven't really had a chance to have a proper look at it. I'll definitely have to work on that rim. But it looks like a very comfortable pipe, and it looks like it's been a good servant. It's got a lovely bend on it. That's a good smoking pipe. Anyway, so we'll get that going at some point. But for today's smoke, I brought out my Orlick golden sliced pipe. I don't smoke it that often because I tend to be out here, and out here I tend to use the new Peterson. But I wanted to smoke this pipe today, so Still feeling a little bit under the weather from the jab, but I was determined to just get on with it today. I had to go with my dad to hospital for some physio this morning, which went very well, and so up and about. I didn't want to waste the day just sitting around moping around, so into the workshop and get on with the day's work. Sometimes you just got to get on with it and you feel better through it. Kind of got to listen to your body, really. Don't want to take it too far, obviously. Morning, Jeff. Cheers. So this morning I'm going for straight Warwick golden sliced. No vanilla in there today. You got your backy yesterday. What backy? What did I send? Did I send you some tobacco? I honestly don't remember. Which dark flake? Oh, the bag. Cool. Excellent. Good for you. It should keep you going for a while. Good morning, Tim. How are you? Sorry I missed last night on the Zoom, but I was feeling a bit crook. Still not quite right after the booster. I had the booster on Monday. Tuesday I was fine, but Wednesday and yesterday, Tuesday night and Wednesday, I was feeling just a bit off, groggy and lethargic, achy. I'm better today than I was yesterday, but still a little bit cloudy. My head's still a little bit, but better than I was. So hopefully we'll continue to improve as the day progresses. So thanks, Tim. For some reason, it seems that a lot of people are reporting more sort of side effects after the third one. Can't decide what stem I want to use on this pipe. I don't know, I was chatting to my father on the way back from the hospital this morning, and I was talking about this Omicron strain, and thinking that maybe it's an opportunity for the world to boost their immunity, because the overall impression is that it's much more catchy. It spreads a lot faster than the previous variants, but does not seem to be hospitalizing or killing people as much. So I was kind of thinking that maybe it's actually an opportunity for the world to kind of get some immunity built up in their systems without a vaccine. Although I'm not pro or against. If you have to have it, have it. If you don't have to have it, don't have it. That's where I am. I'm kind of on the fence in principle, but I've had them myself. I've had the vaccines. I'm basically following guidance because nobody really knows any better than anybody else. Besides, obviously there's lots of different narratives out there, but it depends on which one you follow. So I'm not neither for or against. I'm going with the flow to an extent. Some people might say, sheep herd, all that. But what I'm trying to say is this: take South Africa, for instance. South Africa is where this Omicron has kind of started, and it's the majority of cases there are now Omicron, and their serious illness and hospitalizations very low. I think they're at about 50 odd deaths yesterday. It's not 50 deaths too many, but it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a low number. And the theory is that South Africa has got very low vaccination, if any. There's no masks or anything like that over there. The people in the just reading comments from people who live in the townships and stuff like that, where there's zero social distancing, there's zero any kind of restrictions going on there at all, and they're all living through it. I suppose you could say that because they've got such a primitive health care system, that their bodies have built up resistance and immunities over the years to all kinds of diseases, not just these kind of diseases, and their bodies are just used to fighting. Hey, Hamdron. So this Omicron, although it's rife, it's just not having a huge effect on people. So I'm thinking that maybe the idea would be is actually to not go mad with the vaccinations. Obviously, the problem is that you've still got the other variants around, which are more dangerous. But I was just me sort of musing over it, mulling over it, about that theory. That maybe because this one, although it spreads faster, is not as dangerous, it might be a good opportunity for the sort of ideal age groups to not get vaccinated. So the younger people not to get vaccinated. Obviously, older, infirm people with other issues should get vaccinated, but the vast majority of the nations around the world perhaps not be so fast to vaccinate and build up some of their immunity, let people get the Omicron and that kind of thing. Unless they're saying is they don't yet know. I think they're saying the data is still too early. It could be that Omicron, you will start to see increasing in severe illness. I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about. Another few pipes I've got coming in, estate pipes. I should be getting them any day now. Amongst which is a leather-clad pipe which I've never had before. So I'm curious to see what that's all about. So I've got a ROP billiard coming, a ROP bent billiard with a 9mm filter, and another bent billiard with a filter. Didn't realise I'd got 3 ROPs. There's 3 ROPs coming, and one of which is leather clad, I think. And I have a Svenborg coming. Yeah, Scotty has arrived. And everything else is I'm up to date. So yeah, so that's what I've got coming in. A bunch of ROPs. Hey, Idan. Or Idan. Idan. I saw somebody commented on Charlie's Look at the Boyntons video that he pronounced it correct. Idan. And I always say Idan. So I'm going to say Idan. Idan. Ken? Idan. Idan. Good morning, Steve. Okay, cool. Idan. I will try to remember that. I am upstairs. I just moved in yesterday. So that's some of the pipes which I'm expecting. As I mentioned the other day, the Stanwells that I got in, I've actually sold. They didn't make it to a video. They all went to one collector. I think it took about 8 or 9 Stanwells. He also took a couple of my pipes, which I was very happy about. Steve is much easier. So is Simon. My Hebrew name is Shaul, as in King Saul. Yeah, exactly. You made a parfait in the big LCS egg last night. What? No. Those have all gone. They've sold. I just showed one estate pipe, which is a pipe I got in yesterday. It's an bent bulldog, which I need to tighten up and clean up, refurbish a little bit, and that will. It says on it Ascorti, handmade Italy. It doesn't say business. A lot of them say business on them. It's got a nice stepped saddle bit. Oh, layers of different tobaccos. Interesting. Which different tobaccos? That would make quite a sunny pipe, wouldn't it? I think that actually works. And I have to trim off the end, obviously. But I think the colours work, don't they? Or are they clashing? What do you think? You think the colours work or they clash? Thinking I can maybe shorten that bit there. Not sure actually. Pegasus, Scottish mixture, and a house blend. What type of blend is Pegasus? I'm not familiar with it. We'll see. I don't know. I might do a hand cut stem for this one. We shall see how we go. It will get a slight bend. I was holding it like that, but it's actually like that. Very slight bend. Should be a nice pipe. Yeah, perfect size. I usually put the bands on the lathe and then face them off. This one I'm kind of doing by hand, so that's going to be interesting. So I've got to sort of sand that down on the wheel in line with the stem. So I've got to make a decision about the stem. There is a... No, it's going to line up. It's just because I need to trim this off. I cut this because I've done all of this off the lathe. So it's kind of in a different... gets done in a different order. So basically, you're used to seeing what I do on the lathe and the order that I do things. But this one, I actually had to trim the shank down. Usually, I would do it when it's on the lathe and the bowl is still square and it's sitting in the chuck. But I'd already shaped it and all was done. So I had to basically put it on the lathe over here onto a tenon. I've made myself a tenon on a piece of rod, which I put into the chuck, and then I just twist this onto the tenon. It has a good fit. You'd think when it spins this would fly off, but it doesn't, and it's secure enough that I can even put the chisel on it. A lot of pipe makers, they have pin gauges they use for that, so they use the pin gauge to precisely grip the pipe that they're working on, and then you can cut. So I've made myself just a regular tenon, which is what I use for the pipes, and it fits perfectly. It's tight enough, and I recut this just before earlier this morning, enough to be able to fit this. I already had this pre-drilled. I made this a while back for a pipe, maybe 2 years ago, something like that, quite some time ago. And sometimes when I have a band material, I'll do a whole long length of it, and I'll drill it and then just cut off bits as I need it. So yeah, so you can see this is the rod, the original shape and size of the rod. I turned it round, roughly round, doesn't have to be precisely round, and then I drilled it. So you've got a length of this, and I just cut off whenever I fancy using it. I just cut a little bit off, and then I have to straighten it and so on. So I cut a bit off, put it into the lathe, face it off, so one side is straight, that side I put on there so it's matching, and this side I'll have to do afterwards. I mean, I can do that on the lathe the same way, actually, come to think of it. I can put it on and cut it down. Maybe I'll do that. So basically, I've got this. This goes into the chuck like that, and the pipe goes on like that. And I have to do my best to gauge it to make sure that it goes on straight, and then that's spinning in the lathe, and I'll cut. What colour do you suggest, Idan? Idan. Matome. Idan. Huh? Oh, did you have your meetup last night, Idan? Hello? Yeah. That's the time. The appointment time is 9:30. It's local, yeah? Okay, so about 20 past, yeah? Yeah, okie dokie. Yeah, but 9:20. Gotta go with my dad again tomorrow. Tomorrow. I don't know why I was shouting here, but it's a good question. Blue, white, green. Yes. Did you see the photos? I got 3 stunning pipes from Michael. Who's Michael? Schwalbo? I haven't seen those photos yet. You mean from the group? Okay, cool. I look forward to seeing that. Why doesn't any of you take a video? Do you have a color that matches the swirl color in the band? The green. No. It's kind of a turquoise. Interesting color. But it would otherwise be a very bright yellow. A bright yellowish. Which I don't think will look very nice. Maybe just have to go black. Traditional. That clashes, I think. I have to look back at my older pictures and see what stem I did with it last time. I've got a feeling it was a blue stem, possibly. Could it have been blue? A blue swirl? I've got this sky blue eldritch which I had made up for me. I don't know if he's carried on making it, but this is a colour which I sent him. Yeah, I think that does work. What do you think? It's quite close to that turquoisey green. Not sure. It's a little bit. It's a personal taste, really. It's not going to be very universal, I don't think. But we'll see. I do actually have a stem upstairs, which I can't use to sell, but it'll be a good way to just see if it works. So once that's done, I can just use that to see if it looks good. Excuse me. I'll see the photos a bit later. I haven't seen them yet. Done. Done. I tried playing around with the copper band, but not sure. I mean, that would have worked well. Sort of, it's rounded over the edge. It's got a round over, a rub over, and then a plain black stem would have looked nice, a slim black stem. But I was struggling with drilling it perfectly. But I think that's something which I might use in the future. I have used it once before. We'll see. But I've got to find a way of drilling it more precisely. I had it on the lathe, but still not quite lined up right, so got to work on that. Why would that be a show off? Don't worry about it. That's what we all do. We all show our pipes. That's what we're here for. Good morning, Charlotte. How you doing, Johnny? Make a video to show the pipes. Yeah, even better. This pipe is just getting warmed up. It's almost finished now. We smoked the Skoda. Wow. I hope it smokes as well. I don't remember if I saw a picture of it yet or not. I probably did. If you do a video of the pipes that you got, if you don't mind to put that one in as well, maybe you could talk about your first smoke. I'd like to see it again. I'd love to see it again. How much did you say it was? $400? I'm kind of jealous. I haven't yet got up to that $500. I'm not in that market. I haven't quite got to that grade of pipe yet in terms of pipes that I buy. Oh yeah, 325. Yeah, I'd have to have him make me one with a filter if I was to order one. At the moment, I'm not ordering anything. I'm not in that kind of bracket now, but I do want to learn how people. I mean, one of you guys, maybe Josh or any of you guys, might know how this works. But if you see the way he does the bands, he does various different materials along the way at different angles. So I can understand if somebody makes up a series of rings out of different sort of rods and glues them all together, and then once they're all glued, warm them up and bend them. But he does them at angles. He cuts them at angles, and I'd like to know how that works. Is it simply a matter of taking different materials, putting them in a lathe or on a sander at different angles, and making sure that the edges are straight, and then glue them together so they're all higgledy-piggledy, and then you turn it into a rod? I suppose that could work. But is there a more scientific way of doing it that you don't have to? It's a bit like Tao, but he does it differently. I mean, Tao does it as a band. So you'll have a band this kind of size, and it's made up of 3 or 4 different materials, but all at different angles. Skoda does a whole shank. You know, he can have 4 or 5 different bits in there, and it's bent as well. So that I don't know how that's done. I mean, if I just sat down and put away a day to just play around with that, I imagine I'd be able to come up with it. But if you see it done, it obviously makes it a lot easier. Trial and error will get you there, I guess, and I suppose he's put in the hours to work on that. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that. And again, a lot of that is going to be a little easier with a metal lathe, I guess. Not the angles or anything like that, just simply reliable cutting of material. No worries. Yeah, I don't blame you, Dan. That's he makes beautiful pipes. I hadn't heard that much of him recently. I wasn't sure if he was still making pipes, but clearly he is. This one's got nicer markings, Josh, and I want to make this a little bit shorter. I find that with devil anses, shorter stems just look better proportionately. All right, Gray, have a good day. Morning, Mark. Congratulations on the Asikian pipe, and good luck in the draw. I did look over his selection of pipes right at the beginning, and he had some nice pipes there. I thought about it long and hard, and then decided in the end not to pull the trigger. The only reason that I was going to do it was simply because I like to get involved in the various things which are happening on the YTPC, especially if it's a new pipe maker who's trying to find his way. So I like to get involved on these things, this stuff that's going on. But I don't know. It's the finances. It's the particular pipe shapes. They were all very, very nice, but none of them really screamed out at me. So I just didn't. I mean, I would be quite happy to get one in the future without the draw. I wasn't buying it for the draw, but the pipe draw, not the draw on the pipe, if you know what I mean. The giveaway. It looks like he uses bands already at final diameter, sands them on a descent to an angle, and glues them up into a band. Perhaps a longer center rod. So he's using the angles of each piece to produce the bend, and then possibly sands them again to make it look nice, but the basic bend is created by those angles. Is that what you're saying? So the hole is already drilled as a rod, but I don't know how that would work, because if you mean he keeps the axes but he sands it at an angle rather than yeah, is that what you're saying? I'm trying to visualize how that works and how the central hole is going to be lined up with no issues at all for the draw. It's not going to catch on anything internally. There must be a way, obviously, but yeah, he said something about it going back into the YTPC. Do you know what he meant by that? I didn't. I must have missed a video or something. What did he mean by it going back into the YTPC? I was curious about that. Is he supporting a charity or something within the YTPC? Seems like a really nice guy. And he's obviously on a set sort of course to really become an established pipe maker. He's got all the trimmings, beautiful boxes. The socks are stunning. He's certainly making them extremely attractive, the whole proposition, and obviously a decent pipe as well. You will need a center rod to reference on. So the outside may well be lopsided until, yeah, okay, until sanding. But the draft is aligned. That's how I would do it. But the different bands are angled, they're not. The different bands are angled, they're not compressed into a bend. Right, so the shaping of the angles are gradually, with each angle, creates the bend. I get that. So he's not heating it up and bending it. I think that's what you're saying, right? So the bend is created by the angles. But how is that central core bending? The only thing, uh, alright, so I've got a bunch of different odds and ends here. Try to visualize what this is. So you've got one piece there, and say that's sanded at an angle. Yeah, so there's an angle like that. So that would go like that. So that would fit onto it. So presumably the bits are wide so as to allow for a central bit once he sands it all in the round. So that's there, let's say. So that's, assume that piece is at that angle, but the core is still running true. So that's like that. That one then attaches to it also with a central hole, but it's out at an angle. I think it'd have to end up with really big pieces, and then so they're probably, he may already have a pre-curved central something, a rod of some kind. Maybe. I don't know. I don't get how that middle bit is working. Yeah, I am, you're done. I don't understand how it works. Have you got an email address? I'd love to get in touch with him and ask him how that works. I mean, if he's prepared to share. Seems to be a very nice person. Thanks, Josh. He's not very responsive. Okay. Is he on social media at all? Where did he send it to, Josh? To LCS? Avid Piper is setting up a fund to help wives in need that he will oversee. Oh, very nice. I've been in touch with Avid Piper. I don't know him as such, but I have been in touch with Avid Piper on Instagram about the pipes when I was thinking about buying one. Very nice. Hasn't come through yet, the email. Alright, it will arrive in due course. Yeah, we were just talking about the Asikian pipes. Whatever the case may be, he's certainly given it a lot of thought, and it looks like he's in it for the long haul. And he's thought through a process, a business plan, it sounds like, and that's good to hear. It's good to see, because he's not just a sort of fly by night, and he's sort of getting into it seriously. I hope he does well. I did get an email yesterday from somebody who wants to commission Pipe 500, so that might happen. I don't know. Did he say all of the proceeds are going back into the YTPC? I mean, he's not doing it for love. I mean, he must be making some. I hope he's making some money on it. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be making 100, 150 pipes or whatever it is, and giving all the money to. If he is, that's pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know if he's doing that as a hobby or if he's intending to do that as a way in to start his brand. Maybe that's a big investment. I wish him every bit of luck. That's a big investment. Yeah, it looks like certainly some of it, if not all of it, is going to fund the profit anyway. I mean, it's a nice way to send somebody a gift as well. I mean, what's his name sent Cliff Higgins sent one to James Thumbo. I thought that was an awesome idea. He sent somebody a pipe, which gives him also an entry into the draw for the pipe, that's an amazing gift. I mean, financially, it's an amazing gift as well. Obviously, the cost of the pipe, but that's a beautiful gift because, you know, I could understand you buying the pipe, having your entry in the draw, and then gifting the pipe to somebody. But to buy the pipe, gift it, and gift the entry as well, that's awesome. That's awesome. That speaks a lot about Cliff. It really does. Right, let's get some work done. Should I do this one or go straight to Josh's? I think we'll get on with Josh's. Yeah, I don't blame you, Idam. Don't blame you at all. Wow, Mark, if that's the case, that's pretty amazing. For 1 year, he's giving the money to proceeds from the sale of the pipes going to the fund. That's pretty amazing. If he wins, Cliff gets the pipe. There he goes, backwards and forwards, to and fro the generosity. Pretty awesome. Now that is an even harder, greater sort of massive gift because that pipe has value. That pipe has, what was it, $1,400 or something like that, Mike said. Mike has a similar one with $575. I assume Mike's is an estate pipe and the other one must be new. If it's Mike said it was worth $1,300 or $1,400 if I remember correctly. I assume that's a retail price, but even so, it's still got a lot of value in there. Either way, it's awesome to see. It's great to see all of these innovative ideas for, number one, being generous, warm-hearted, and kind to people, and number two, all of these things, they just serve to gel people together, to solidify the community feel and the friendships and the kinships and the fealty between all of the people in the YTPC. So it's all good. All of it is good. One was sent to Jim. Awesome. Who did that? It's just keeps on coming. Called it a Cindy pipe. That's cute. Those pipes, I think they're around anything from 140 to a couple $100, if I'm not mistaken, depending on what they are. They're not expensive in the grand scheme of things. I like the one that Mark got because he's got a bit of, it looks like boxwood on the end of it, and I think Mark said it was the only one with that finish. And it really looks good. And that he seems to have made that rustication quite a unique thing, which he seems to have made it his own, which is interesting. Okay, good. I've got to say as well, I was watching Jim's videos in the run up to his wife's passing, and then immediately after. There's a lot of aspects to that, but one of the things I took from that again is how much the YTPC means to some people. Something like that, somebody loses a partner, and the YTPC is one of the places that he goes to talk about it. That speaks a huge amount. That speaks a massive amount to what the YTPC means to Jim. And it's an outlet. It's a way of releasing emotion, which is extremely important after when there's a condolence. There's somebody close passes. It's extremely important to release, to just talk about it and to get your emotions out, because those emotions have to get out at some point. You can either explode further down the line and it can be detrimental, or you can let it release straight away and start to get the healing process underway. And the fact that he got onto the YTPC literally within hours of his wife's passing, that says a lot as well. All right, that makes more sense, Johnny. That's beautiful. He backed the Sikian pipes with agreement that the sale of 1 year's pipes would go into a fund. Wow. One of the pipes from Jason Mouton's auction was gifted to Jim. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I must be honest, personally, you've heard me say this many times, I don't attach much emotion to my pipes. I have attachments to them, but it's not on an emotional level. I'm more attached to them in a practical way. These pipes smoke better with this or that or the other. This one smokes better than the next one. But I can't say that I've got an emotional attachment to my pipes. But for him, that's going to be an emotional attachment for sure. If that's something which was gifted to him during that whole sort of, as that unfolded, I'm sure that will have a lot of meaning to him each time he smokes it. All right, enough schmoozing. Should we get down to making some pipes? I think we should. Don Mott's son gifted the pipe to Jim. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Ladon was another one of the stalwarts of the YTPC, and he was a huge pipe collector. No pun intended, because he was a huge fellow as well, as most of us are. Not most of us, that's a generalization, but a lot of us are. I say that with the most fondness, not in any other way. But he was a big chap. But he was a fantastic human being and a big supporter of new pipe makers. I can say that myself, and I've seen the pipes that he bought from other people. You know, he exchanged a lot of pipes. He gave a lot of tobacco away. He was a good guy. Seneca, how you doing? Hiking, good morning. This pipe's too heavy for the guys in Israel. What, the Asikian ones? I don't know what weights they are. The ones that I looked at didn't seem too heavy. And Jim talked about his in-laws and their behavior after since passing really bothered my blood. I didn't see that bit. I just watched the first few minutes of when he sort of... I saw the video beforehand and then the one after about when she passed, but I didn't have... At that time, I just watched the first few minutes. I guess he spoke about them afterwards. I'll have to go back to that and listen. Oh, 70 plus grams. 70 is not terrible. If it's a bent pipe, it's not so bad. 55 is perfect. Yeah, I understand that, Johnny. I do understand that. So if you were to make a pipe for me, there'd be an emotional attachment because of our friendship. I get that, of course. For sure. This tamper here, which James made for me, I do have an attachment to it, even though the end broke off. But I have an attachment to this because he made it for me. He put a lot of thought into it. He put Jerusalem olive wood in there because of my attachment to Israel. There's a lot of thought gone into that. And so, yes, there is an emotional attachment to that. But the pipes that I buy, generally speaking, my collection, I'm not talking about pipes that were, you know, where it was a personal thing, where somebody's made a pipe and given it to me or something. Or I guess a pipe that I've commissioned, maybe there would be a little bit more of an attachment. I just wouldn't call it an emotional attachment. You know, some pipes could be more favorite than others, for sure. I just wouldn't call it necessarily an emotional attachment. It doesn't mean that I don't value them. Maybe I didn't explain myself very well. Maybe you might say that valuing it is an emotion. It is an emotion, isn't it? But I suppose it's just a matter of degree. There certainly is a level of emotional attachment, I suppose, if I rethink it, but not to any... It's a matter of degree, I suppose. Yeah, Idan, 100%. It's about balance. You can have a heavy pipe which feels like it's not there if it's got the right balance. I have that the Scorty, the recent one that I got, that bent Rhodesian. That one, I don't actually remember how much it weighs, but I think it's more than 50 grams. But it's effortless. It's so perfectly balanced that it's just, you know, put it in your mouth and it's like it's not there. I should really use it as a model and maybe make something like that. You also got one from James. Cool. Afternoon, Jack. How are you? All right. The day is going. The day is moving along. I need to get some work done. I can see that my battery power is at 4%. That's not good. I've got it plugged in, but just going to turn the screen brightness down. Excuse me while my big thumb is in your face. Let's turn that down so we're using up less battery. There we go. Just finished up a beautiful straight grain. Woo! Look forward to seeing that. You need to clean up your mess. Nah, it's overrated. Unless you listen to Jordan Peterson. Tidy your room. What does he know? Exactly, you're done. We know nothing. None of us know anything at all. We all bluff our way through life. Let's be honest. Just do the best you can. Not much more you can do about anything. Any electricians amongst you? I've got my fan heater, which is designed for use in a garage or workshop or whatever. But the plug, where I plug it into the socket, it gets very hot. So I have to keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't catch fire or anything like that. Any ideas why that might be? The wiring is fine. I've ordered a new heavy-duty plug, but I don't know why it's getting warm though. Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, this is for Josh's pipe. got these translucent Teflon tenons, because the yellow stems, when you've polished it, some of it is almost transparent, and the black ones, it's fine, it's okay, but it's nicer with the white ones, translucent ones. Transparent ones I don't like either. This is yellow, but because it's swirly, some of the swirls are quite see-through. I don't like transparent ones because you start to see the tobacco colour through it, through the draft hole. That's why if somebody does a commission and they want to have a white stem, I'll often tell them to think about that, because where the stem thins out towards the button, after a bit of time, I mean, if it's a thick button, then it's not such an issue, but then it's not a very comfortable pipe to smoke. So if you're making it a certain thinness, then over time you're going to see that brown streak. It's like a brown, a bit like the central thing of a lobster, you know, where they have to take out that tract. That's what it starts to look like. So anybody got any ideas about the plug, why it's getting hot? That sounds nicely done. I wouldn't have minded getting in on that at some point. I didn't see that on the group. If they do that again, have me in mind. And I can't guarantee that I'll do it, but I'd like to know about it. Alright, cool. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I don't need to buy every pipe out there, but still. Skovgard. Okay, I have a couple of his pipes, so I'm okay for that. Thank you. What shape pipe is it going to be? Smooth apple. Nice. Straight or bent? Six days off. Nice. Is it still possible to join that list, Dan? Oh, and are they doing in 9mm as well? Yeah, if you don't mind. I mean, I can speak to Michael as well, but I'm more than happy for you to. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. The last one I got was the Amarelli 70th anniversary. Yeah, don't worry about it. The marker is in exactly the same place on the drill bit, which means it's very similar to yesterday's dimensions. Hi, Boris. Oh, I just realized I did a very silly thing. I didn't turn the shank. I have smoked the 64 a long time ago. Quite a strong cigar, if I remember correctly. Quite a nicotine hit on it. And there's a spot on there, a couple of spots, but they're all surface. We'll see how the rest of the pipe looks, and it'll be your call really, whether it stays smooth or not. This one is for Josh, yeah. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure how good the block is going to be ultimately. I'm not going to force him to if he's not happy with it. If there's, issues with it. But so far it doesn't look too bad. It will be, all being well, a double ounce. Ow! If I use the tapered, it's going to be a really small bowl. I think I'm going to have to just be careful and do a 20mm bowl. And just be careful with the width of it. Yeah, the Christmas pipe worked out really well. Hey country. Josh, you want me to round over the top to make a dome effect, or a flat rim? If it's going to be flat, I need to take it down a bit because it's a little bit too thin at the top. I mean, it's fine, but it's because it goes straight into width. It's not a problem. It's just a look. It depends what you prefer.